Do you ever find yourself going to, say, the hardware store, and then when you get home, remembering that you were to buy this one item over there? Or maybe visiting your parents' place, and then the next day thinking, oh, I again forgot to ask them about this thing I've been meaning to ask them about for months. So this happens all the time to me, but what if there were an automatic way to be reminded of things when you get to a certain place? Well, for those of you who are Things 3 users, there is a way to do that. And in this video, I will show you exactly how you can set that up. Now, in case you're new, my name is Peter, and on this channel, I share strategies and workflows for living a happier, more conscious, but also a more productive life. And speaking of productivity, it can be a real time killer to forget to do things when you're in certain places. So my task management app of choice is Things 3, but Things 3 does not have built-in location-based reminders. So in this video, I'll show you how we can use the Apple Shortcuts app to set up something like location-based reminders for Things 3. So I'm going to be demonstrating this on my iPad, which is right in front of me. But if you're like me, you carry your iPhone around more than you carry around your iPad. I'm going to demonstrate it on iPad though, because the screen is bigger and it's easier to see, but you probably at the very least want to set this up on your iPhone first. And what I'm going to show you is actually not going to sync between your iPhone and your iPad, so just keep that in mind. You'll have to set it up independently on all of your Apple mobile devices. I'm going to go through two demonstration use cases, and the first one is one that is actually real for me right now. So I'm here on my iPad, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to go to my Build a New Office/Studio project. We're about to move apartments in a few weeks, and I'm very excited because in the new apartment, I'm going to have my own office, which is going to double as a recording studio, for example, for my YouTube videos and for course videos. Speaking of courses, I have a whole course called Organize Your Life with Things 3. This is just a quick tip, but if you want to learn a whole workflow for being more organized and productive, check out my course. The link is in the video description. Anyway, I've got my project here, my Build a New Office/Studio project. Now, there are some things that I'm going to need to buy when, for example, I get to the hardware store. I imagine I'll be visiting the hardware store quite a bit in the coming weeks as I'm setting up the new apartment, right? And so what are we going to do? Here's a task that says buy zip ties or a similar product for cable management. Because, I've never been really good at cable management, and it's kind of bugging me that cables are just sort of sneaking around everywhere. You can't see it, but around me it's a mess. So I want to do this in a little bit more targeted way. What am I going to do? I'm going to create a tag by pressing the button over here. And I'm going to create a new tag. I'm going to call it hardware store. I'm going to tap save, okay? And I'm going to use this tag, and you see it's applied to this task over here now. I'm going to use this tag, and I'm going to apply it to any task that I can complete only at the hardware store. For example, buy a power drill and a drill bit is another one of those tasks. So I'm going to tap hardware store and just tap done. And now we've got two tasks that have that hardware store tag assigned. I can actually search for hardware store inside things, and you'll see all of these tasks listed. Okay, what am I going to do next? Next, we're going to use the Apple Shortcuts app. So I'm just going to close things up. I'm going to open up the Apple Shortcuts app, and I'm going to create what is called a personal automation. So this is not a shortcut. It is a personal automation, okay? And this is the thing that will not sync between your various devices. So I'm showing you here on iPad, but you probably want to set this up on your phone first. So I'm going to click Create Personal Automation. Now, there's a couple of things that I can do, that I can choose here. First, I need to choose a trigger. When is this automation going to run? The trigger is when we arrive, in this case, at the hardware store. So I'm going to press Arrive over here. Then I'm going to choose a location. And I'm actually just going to type the name of the hardware store that I like to go to, which is Praxis. And I'm going to choose the first one. This is the one that I like to go to. I'm going to press Done. Now we need to choose what's going to happen when we get to the hardware store. And so, by the way this works is your device, your iPhone, your iPad, is going to get a trigger when you arrive at this place and is going to run this personal automation. That's the automated part of it. So what does it actually need to do? I'm going to tap Next. And now I need to choose the action. So I'm going to actually use the search bar at the bottom. I'm going to type things. Things shows up. And then there's a thing that says Show List. See, there's Show List. I'm going to press the plus button over here. Now, when I do that, I just need to decide which list I want to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tap Today and change that. I'm going to scroll down. And if you scroll down, you'll see your tags. And then I'm actually going to tap the hardware store tag. Then I'm going to press Next. It just shows me a summary of what's going on. When I arrive at the hardware store, show me this particular list. And then I press Done. And that's it. So now what's going to happen? When you arrive at the hardware store, your mobile device, your iPhone or your iPad, will send you a notification nudging you to open this list. Here's what that looks like. There's the notification. It comes up at the top. It says shortcuts. Now, it says for me, I'm just going to tap it and tap run, and you'll see it opens the hardware store list inside things, and you'll see that I set it to a certain time. You can just ignore that. I didn't want to go all the way to the hardware store to show you guys what happens, so I just set it to a certain time, but the trigger is going to work the same way if you do the location. It will send you a notification, so whether your phone or your iPad is locked or unlocked, it's going to send you that notification, and you're going to tap on the notification, tap run, and then you're going to see that list. So that'll act as your reminder. Now let's do another example. I'm a member of a public speaking club called Toastmasters, and sometimes when we have our Toastmasters meetings, which is about twice a month, and I show up there, sometimes I have to discuss things with people, but it's easy to forget about that. So I have an area in my Things 3 called Toastmasters, so I'm going to tap that. And there's a task that I put in here. For example, maybe I need to ask our Vice President of Education when our next speech contest will be. So how am I going to do this? Rather than using a tag, I'm just going to actually want to see the entire area of Toastmasters tasks and projects that I have when I arrive at the venue where we hold our meeting. So I'm going to open the Shortcuts app again, and I'm going to create a new personal automation by clicking the plus button and then clicking Create Personal Automation. And I'm going to say Arrive, and I'm going to choose the location. So the location for our Toastmasters meetings is a church, and I will press Done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to again pull up Things and tap Show List. And this time, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to directly pick the whole Toastmasters area. Press Next and press Done, and it'll work the exact same way. When I show up at Toastmasters, I'm going to get that notification. Hey, here's a reminder, run the shortcut. You press run the shortcut, and it shows you all the list of things that you got to do. Now, true productivity, of course, doesn't come from quick tips like this. It comes from having a workflow that you can trust. That's why I created an entire video course called Organize Your Life with Things 3, in which I will teach you a reliable system that will have you being more productive and more organized. So if you enjoyed this video, check out the video course. I'm sure you're going to love that. The link is in the description below the video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.